Eli stirred in his sleep. It wasn't a restless sleep, no, it was dangerous sleep, beautiful sleep. She was in it, again. Her voice, that voice. "I know what I taste like in a man's thoughts." That's what she'd said. And she was right. She wasn't just in his mind, she was under it, slipping between the cracks of memory and dream. In his sleep, his breath quickened. He saw her mouth, so close, not kissing him, but almost. He saw her neck tilt, her lips part, saw her finger slide across the curve of her collarbone, slowly, like a secret meant only for him. And his body. His body betrayed him. He turned in the sheets, swallowed hard, and the heat that rushed through him made him groan softly. It was ridiculous. It was real. He hadn't felt like this in years, not since his brother's head began to fall, not since the world turned cold. Since then, he had been numb, heavy with duty, drenched in mourning. But now, at the river of all places with her, he had felt alive. He smiled in his sleep, a slow, sinful smile, one that hadn't touched his face since the days of his youth. You are watching the Tales of the Savannah. Subscribe and be part of the tribe. Now let's get back to the story. When morning came, the light felt sweeter, the birdsong brighter, the breeze softer. He wanted to sing. He wanted to open every window and shout, "What a good day to be alive." But he didn't. That would have been disrespectful. They were still in mourning. The castle still wore grief like heavy robes. So he held it in, smiling only to himself. A man in love. Or something like it. She had asked for a gift, something near, something dear. He went to the old chest, the one no one touched, not even Daniel. Inside was the necklace, a simple strand of black leather with a serpent's fang at the center, worn smooth with time. Mambo had given it to him years ago. He held it now. His hands trembled slightly. Could he give this away? No, he shouldn't, which meant he had to. That's what made it worthy. Because once he gave it, she would know he was serious, even if he didn't know what about. He held the necklace tight and waited. At sunset, he left, faster than before, eager, breathless. And when he reached the river, there she was, just as she'd been that first night, sitting on the rock, one leg tucked under the other, her dark wrap slipping off one shoulder like it belonged to the wind. She shimmered faintly in the dusk. Or maybe it was his eyes. Eli's heart jumped. "You're here already," he said, a little startled, a little breathless. She turned her head slowly, smiling like the night had whispered his name before he arrived. "You kept me waiting, Eli." He stepped closer, and something in him pulsed, something low, deep. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, he forgot to respond. He remembered instead her voice in his dreams, the shape of her smile, the way his body had responded to her without permission. He had been bewitched, and he didn't even want to be free. She stepped closer. "What did you bring me?" she asked, voice low, soft, like it was wrapping around his spine. Eli reached into his pocket. His fingers trembled, just slightly. He hoped she didn't notice. She noticed everything. "A necklace," he said. "Something my brother gave me." Her eyes narrowed, playful. "Which one? Mambo or Kato?" He paused. That startled him. She knew about them. "Mambo." She smiled wider. "Ah, the first leader of the snake people." She said it like a memory, like she'd been there. He pulled out the necklace, the fang glinting in the dark. She extended her hands, their fingers brushed. Her skin was cold, silky like satin dipped in river water. But it jolted through him, fast, deep, electric. His body reacted, tightened, hardening in places he hadn't meant. He stood still, tried to hide it. She didn't say anything, but she saw it. Oh, she saw everything. She curled her fingers around the fang, lifted it to her face, smelled it. Her lashes fluttered like she was tasting a secret. "It's a snake's tooth," he said quietly. How delightful." She looked at him again. slowly. Her eyes dropped, then rose. Measured. Bold. "I think you're ready." Eli blinked. Ready for what? He tried to sound calm, but his voice betrayed him. She stepped around him, a slow circle, not touching, just hovering, like smoke around a flame. "Ready to meet my people?" Eli turned to watch her, his brow furrowed. "I've only met you twice." "3 times, she said, smiling. "You forget your dreams." She moved closer again, this time lifting her chin just enough to catch his eyes. "You've asked so many times. Who are you? Where do you come from? What do you want from me?" She paused. "Let me show you." He hesitated. She saw it, felt it. Her voice dropped, velvet over steel. "You want to understand me, don't you? You want to know what I am, not just what I say I am." He looked at her. "Yes." "Then what's the problem, Eli?" She used his name like a lover. Soft, sharp. Sacred. He looked around, unsure. He hadn't told Daniel, hadn't told anyone. He was meeting her. This wasn't planned. It wasn't smart. But it was all he wanted. She watched the storm pass through his eyes. Then, like a blade slipping between ribs, she whispered, "Ah, I made a mistake." Eli looked up. "I should have asked Daniel." Her voice was light. Too light. "The son of Mambo. He sounds like a man who knows what he wants." She smiled again, turning slightly. "Who makes decisions?" Decisively. She glanced over her shoulder. "That's the kind of man I like." Eli stiffened. Something flared in him. Jealousy, pride, anger. He stepped forward. "What makes you think I need permission?" She stopped, turned, smiling. There he is. She stepped back. A tease. A dare. "Come with me then, if you're the man I think you are." And he followed. She led him beyond the river path, past where the land felt known to him. They moved in silence. Not even the wind dared follow. Then they reached it. A hollow in the earth, round, wide, black, like something waiting to breathe. Eli paused. "A cave?" Nyoka'tu didn't stop. "No, a door." She stepped inside. He followed. The descent twisted. The air cooled. Walls curved with symbols, like veins pulsing under stone. "Your people live down here?" he asked. She kept walking. "They sleep mostly." The way she said it made his skin crawl. Then the cavern opened wide, but Eli did not step into darkness. He stepped into gold. The stone walls were carved smooth, polished like mirrors. Rich fabrics hung like banners from archways. Candles lined the walls, flames amber and steady. And in the middle of the room, a shallow pool of water reflected everything above it like glass. Eli froze. He had expected earth, dirt, a hole. Instead, this was a throne room, and they were waiting for him. Figures, dozens of them, men and women dressed in robes in velvet, in embroidered cloth. Jewels at their necks, rings on their long, perfect fingers. They were barefoot, silent, and so still they seemed painted. They looked like her, beautiful, polished, timeless. But there was something else beneath it all, an ache in the air, a pull. They all watched him. Not a single one blinked. Nyoka'tu stepped beside him. "Welcome," she whispered, "to my world." And then, one of them moved. A man, tall and lean, walked forward. His skin was the color of polished obsidian. He wore deep crimson robes, every inch tailored to perfection. No dust, no dirt, only grace. He moved like a whisper. When he reached Eli, he stopped just close enough to feel the air shift. "Eli," he said warmly, voice smooth like old wine, "it is a pleasure to finally meet you." His eyes, dark, endless, held Eli's gaze too long. "We've heard so much about you." Eli, unsure, extended his hand. The man smiled, didn't take it. Instead, he bowed his head. "Forgive me," he said. "I make it a rule not to touch things I cannot control." Eli's hand hung in the air for a second, Then he pulled it back. The others chuckled softly, not cruelly, just amused. Nyoka'tu smiled. Proud. "This is Aramon," she said softly. "One of our elders." Eli felt a shiver. Aramon looked at him again. "You brought us something, didn't you?" Eli swallowed. "A gift? For her?" Aramon's smile sharpened, just slightly. "That is generous. Snake blood doesn't usually give anything away." Eli frowned. "What do you mean?" Aramon's smile faded. "Nothing, of course." But he turned and the others laughed again. Soft, strange, as if they all knew something he didn't. Eli looked around. They were still watching him. Too still. Too focused. He felt it now. Their hunger, covered in elegance, dressed in silk. But it was there, pressing behind every stare. They wanted him, but they didn't move. Nyoka'tu leaned in, her voice warm at his ear. "They won't touch you." Eli turned. "Why?" She smiled. "Because you are under my protection." That hit him deep. A flush rose in his neck. His pulse throbbed in his throat. And all around him he felt it. The silence, the restraint, the self-control that hummed like a bowstring pulled too tight. They were not being polite. They were holding themselves back. From him. Nyoka'tu reached for his arm. This time she touched just his sleeve, just enough. "Come," she said. "There's more to see." And he followed, because he was already in too deep, and she knew it. Vusi stumbled into the clearing like a shadow breaking through dawn. His body was covered in dried blood, some of it still fresh, but he didn't feel it. He had bled all night, limping, dragging himself through thorns, branches tearing at his skin, but none of it mattered. Only one name burned in his mind. Tendai. He would find him. He had to. The hunter needed to be punished. A child conceived of sin must be destroyed. This was not revenge anymore. It was a calling, something ancient in his blood, something dark, something that refused to be silenced. His breath was shallow, his ribs ached, his shoulder was torn from the last fight. But the madness inside him, the madness that came from the curse, drove him forward like a storm. He reached the outer wall of the hunter's stronghold. The stench hit him hard. Snakeheads, still rotting on pikes. A warning, a message. Vusi didn't flinch. He raised his hood, hiding his face. His cloak was torn, soaked with blood, but it would do. He limped down toward the market where humans traded fruits, cloth, and metal. His steps were slow, but firm. Each one took more effort, but his eyes stayed sharp. He would not fail. Not now. Not this close. Then he saw the boy, maybe 10 years old, holding a basket of fruit, eyes full of curiosity. Vusi stepped into his path. "Come here." The boy froze. Vusi's face was half in shadow, but the blood under his hood made the boy's mouth drop open. His skin turned pale. I don't know you, mister." "You don't need to," Vusi said, voice low and cracked. "But I need your help." The boy stayed quiet. "There's a hunter named Tendai. Find him. Tell him Vusi is here." "I don't know who that is." "Then ask," Vusi said. He reached under his cloak and ripped off a piece of cloth, dark, stained, and torn. He handed it to the boy. "Give him this. He'll know." The boy hesitated. "And this is for you." He dropped a silver coin in the boy's hand. The boy gasped, delighted. "Will you do it?" The boy nodded, slowly, smiling, but still afraid. He ran, straight into the heart of hunter territory. Vusi watched him go, then staggered back into the shadows. He would wait. Tendai would come. He had to. Nala looked Zoro straight in the eyes. She didn't flinch. She was done asking, done begging. "I know what happened in the forest," she said calmly. Zoro flinched. She noticed. "Tendai told me." His eyes widened. "That little—" He stopped himself. "Why didn't you tell me, Zoro?" "How could I?" he said, his voice low. "I didn't know where to start. Dear Savanians, This is where it begins. The moment when someone speaks as if they know everything, when in truth, they know only enough to make you squirm. Nala didn't really know the full story, but now she had confirmation. Something had happened. She wanted to ask, who is she? But if she asked that, Zoro would know she didn't know much at all. So instead she asked softly, did she hurt you? Zoro hesitated. Yes. I mean, no. I don't know. He couldn't lie, but he didn't want to tell the truth either. Not like this. But now that the secret was out. Tendai had opened the door, and Nala had walked straight through it. She knew not to speak. If you speak too soon, you say the wrong thing. And she needed him to talk. You can start from the beginning, darling, she coaxed. Zoro took a long breath. When Sia and I left here, we were looking for Tendai. And we found out. He paused, staring at the floor. He had been taken by Mamiwata. Nala's eyes widened. Her breath caught in her throat. But she said nothing. We found him, Zoro continued. But to get him back, she wanted something. What? Nala asked, her voice low. She wanted one of us. He still couldn't look at her. To protect Sia. I let her. Let her what, Zoro? I let her have me. He finally looked up. The silence between them grew thick. Nala didn't move. She didn't speak. Her world was spinning. She comes to me in my dreams, Zoro whispered. She won't leave me alone. Every night she's there. She calls to me, says she wants to see me again. Nala stared. Why didn't you tell me? I was afraid, Zoro said. How do I tell my wife another woman haunts me? That she touched me, that I didn't stop her? We have to see Nyoka'tu the healer, Nala said quickly, standing. It won't work, he said. I already pledged myself to her. Then we try harder, she snapped. You know what she does, Zoro. You know she drains until there's nothing left, unless you liked it. No, he said too fast. I didn't. Then let's go, she said again, more firmly this time. Nyoka'tu, he'll know what to do. Zoro looked up at her. The pain in his eyes was raw, shame, regret, confusion. But she hugged him anyway, because she still loved him. They left at once to find the great hunter-healer. Zoro's legs carried him, but his heart did not want to go. Healers see everything. They peel back the layers, they uncover the roots of pain, and the hidden pleasures too. He didn't want Nyoka'tu to see Palesa. The real reason they had crossed paths with Mamiwata, the flower they had stolen, the game they had played, the fact that deep down, he had liked it. Letting Nala believe this was about nightmares was easier than the truth. He was haunted, yes. But not only by Mamiwata, he was haunted by who he had become in her arms. And now, Nyoka'tu would know it all. As they walked towards Nyoka'tu's place of healing, Zoro dragged his feet. Not physically, no, he walked straight, steady, like a man in control. But in his heart, he was begging the gods to stop time. Ancestors, please, he prayed. Let something happen. Let me trip and break a tooth. Let a wild bird swoop down and attack us. Let the earth split open. A small storm, a strong wind, anything. The closer they got, the more desperate he became. Sweat rolled down his back. His mind was loud with fear. He didn't want to sit in front of that healer. He didn't want the truth to be dragged out of him like roots from the soil. And then, the gods answered. Grandfather. Tendai's voice cut through the air. He came running, out of breath, face tight with urgency. You have to come with me, now. Nala turned quickly. What's going on? I'll explain later, grandmother. Please, I need him right now. Zoro blinked in disbelief. Then a slow smile crept onto his face. The ancestors, they came through. I have to go, my love, he said to Nala, faking heartbreak. We'll finish this another time. She watched the two of them rush off, arms folded. Something didn't sit right. Those two were always up to something. But now that she knew the truth about Mamiwata, about what had happened, She wasn't going to rest. They would fix this. Together. Zoro followed Tendai through the side gates of the village, then down a long, forgotten corridor that led to the hollow below, a dungeon deep beneath the old castle grounds. The hunters barely used it. They never took prisoners. Their enemies were dealt with swiftly. The hollow was cold, damp, and abandoned. Zoro frowned. "Why are we going into the dungeons?" "We're almost there," Tendai said, eyes forward. Zoro's nose twitched. Snake. That smell. A low, ancient growl vibrated in his throat. His eyes lit up with ancestral rage. "Tendai," he warned. "What is this?" "Just a few more steps." The stink of scaled blood grew stronger. And then, in the last cell on the left, Zoro saw him. A figure curled in the corner, breathing, barely. Zoro reached for his sword. His body moved on instinct. A snake person. His voice thundered. "What is the meaning of this, Tendai?" Tendai stepped forward, chest heaving. "I didn't know what else to do." "Who is this?" Zoro demanded. Tendai lowered his head. "It's Vusi." "My brother, I'm not your brother," the figure hissed weakly from the shadows. Zoro's blade was half drawn. "You mean Pelesa's son?" "Yes." Zoro turned sharply. "You brought a snake into the hunter's sacred ground." "Are you mad?" Tendai swallowed hard. "Let me explain." He told the story. A boy had come to him. By the time Tendai found Vusi, he was nearly gone. He had collapsed under a tree, blood soaking the earth. His eyes were wild, his skin pale and strange. Tendai had put a sword to his throat. "Who are you?" The boy had barely moved. "My name is Vusi," he whispered. "I believe we share a mother." There was hate in his voice, but also surrender. He had tried to shift, to turn into a snake, but his body was too weak. His magic was fading. Tendai had stared at him, stunned. He was supposed to be an enemy, but he was dying. For Vusi, maybe this was punishment. Maybe this was fate. Maybe this was poetry, that he would die like this, alone, far from his people in enemy territory, while looking at the decomposing heads of the ones he tried to save, and the brother he desperately wanted dead. So Tendai had carried him, secretly, through the tunnels, to the hollow below. "To heal him," Tendai finished. "I need your help." Zoro couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Heal him? Here? In this place? Do you even understand what you've done? I can't do this without you. Please, he's my brother." "I'm not your brother," Vusi hissed again, barely audible. Zoro stared at the young man. He saw it now, the madness creeping in. "You see his face?" Tendai said quietly. "I think he drank human blood. I read about it once. He's becoming mad." Zoro gritted his teeth. "This is not a blessing. This is not the ancestors saving me. This is a curse." His hands trembled. This wasn't mercy. This was treason. The sky was grey. Not stormy, not calm, just grey, like it too was waiting. The horn of calling had been blown before sunrise, a sound no centaur ignored, not even a king. The old ones came from the cliffs, from the plains, from the caves, covered in dust, bone necklaces and black cloth. The sacred hall was carved in stone. The floor was packed earth. Every hoofstep thudded like a warning, and in the center stood Tharion, king of the centaurs, tall, proud, armored in silence. On the stone seats around him stood the high circle, the elders, the watchers, and Varanor, the healer, whose word carried the weight of the dead. He stepped forward now. "Do you know why you were summoned, King Tharion?" Tharion lifted his chin. "I do." "Then speak." "Before we do." Tharion looked at them, each one. Then he spoke. "I allowed my wife, Queen Varashka, to keep the child, to raise Kallion. He is of the hunter's line, yes, but he lives in my house now, under my name." Gasps filled the hall. A few elders stood up, anger sharp in their breaths. Varanor did not move. You gave your wife the sacrifice, he asked. I gave her what the gods denied her, and I will not take him from her. The silence cracked like thunder. An elder named Gorthon, voice like flint, stood tall. This has never been done. Never. Since Barakan, the first flame, the child from the hunters, was to be raised by the order, to be trained, to be hardened, not loved, not mothered. You have broken the pact. Another elder rose. Do you think you are the first king to love his wife, to wish for softness? But we do not take what does not belong to us. A third. You are king, Tharion, but you are not God. The elders began to chant, low and slow, the old words, the ones that called the spirits of the ancestors into the room, and the temperature dropped. You could feel them. Barakan, the first flame, watching. Varanor stepped forward again. His voice changed. He was no longer speaking for himself. He was speaking for the dead.
You have cursed the land, Tharion. You have placed love above law, feeling above fate. You think the child is yours to give. The boy was sent to strengthen our line, not soften your home. This is not a child. This is an offering, and you gave him to your wife, like a pet.
Tharion's eyes burned, but he held his ground. He is not a pet. He is my son now. Then you are already lost, one elder spat. Love blinds kings. It does not guide them, another elder rose. To restore what you have broken, the boy must be returned immediately, and he must be cleansed, given back to the elders. The elders nodded slowly. Varanor spoke again. If you refuse, Tharion, the hand of the ancestors will strike you, and they will not strike lightly. Even Barakan himself will rise from the dust to remind you what it means to be king. The room trembled, and then silence. All eyes turned to Tharion. He stepped forward. I will not return the child. His voice was calm, steady, but final. Strike me if you must. Curse me if you must, but I will not take him from her arms. I cannot do that. Then the blood is on your hands, Varanor said. Then let it be, Tharion answered. The hall erupted. Some elders screamed in rage. Others looked away in grief. The chant returned, this time not as a calling, but as a warning. The land had been defied. The law had been broken. And Tharion, king of the centaurs, had chosen love over tradition. Now the ancestors would decide if he would pay for it. It was quiet in Nandi's quarters. Not the kind of quiet that feels forced. Not the kind that weighs down the chest. No, this was the good kind. The kind you welcome after surviving a storm. The baby lay swaddled, breathing softly. Nandi was still in her robe, loose hair draped down her back, a warm drink in her hands. For the first time in days, her soul was not at war. Then, a knock. She smiled to herself. Maybe Django forgot something. Maybe he just missed me again. She opened the door, and confusion swept her face. Malia. It's really nice to see you, she said kindly. Malia smiled, but something in her face was off. Her skin was pale, her eyes sunken. Her fingers trembled around an envelope. Are you here to see the baby? Nandi asked, stepping aside. She just fell asleep. Malia stepped in without answering. Would you like some tea? No, Malia said softly. I need to talk to you. Of course, Nandi smiled, still floating in her peace. You haven't visited in a while. She didn't notice it at first. The shaking hands, the nervous glances, the tight grip on the envelope. Malia, are you all right? Malia said nothing. She simply handed her the envelope. Nandi took it slowly. She turned it over in her hands. Confidential. Her smile faded. She opened it. At first it was just words. Rows of them. Medical terms. Charts codes. Then her eyes locked on a picture. A face she had buried in her memories. Cabo. She gripped the page. Her knees weakened. Why do you have this? She asked. Malia swallowed. Tendai came to me. He asked me to run a test. Nandi's heart pounded. Does he know? No? Who else? Only me. Did you destroy the results? Yes, Malia said. As soon as I saw them. Silence. Then, slow rage. Nandi stepped toward her. Her voice was low, deadly. You came here to threaten me. No! The slap hit like thunder. Malia's face snapped to the side. Even the ancestors turned in their graves. Nandi's chest was heaving now. You come into my house. My house? With this? Do you know what I've survived? Do you know how many wars I've fought, inside and out? She grabbed the paper, waving it. You bring him back? Him? Do you know what this does to me? Her legs almost gave out. And just like that, she was back there. She remembered the way Cabo used to look at her, like he was reading a story only he understood. His smile wasn't safe. It was sharp, dangerous, addictive. He kissed her like she was made of fire. Every time he pulled away, she wanted more. You're a drug to me, she had whispered once. He had smiled, and he had left her wanting. Every time. Even now, years later, the memory burned. She blinked. She was back in the room. Nandi gripped the paper. Do you know what I have suffered to bury him? To bury that time, that version of me. She looked down at the paper, then back at Malia. She circled Malia now, like a lioness. Speak. What do you want? Nothing, Malia said quickly. I just thought you should know. Speak the truth, Nandi barked. I know when someone has a taste for power. You didn't bring this to warn me. You brought this to bargain. So I ask again. What do you want? Malia stood frozen. Then something flickered in her eyes. A realization. She had leverage. You want something, Nandi whispered. You've seen my life. Now you want to crawl into it, my dear Savanians. Let the record be clear, not all hunters were equal. Some were born from high bloodlines, some were trained for battle, and some, like Malia, were born from the hands that served. Her mother had cleaned the halls of Django's family. Malia had grown up watching Nandi walk through her quarters like royalty. The luxury, the power, the respect. They were both hunters, yes, but not the same kind. Malia had grown up with lesser, but now she had a winning card. Nandi stepped in close. Her voice dropped into something sacred. In hunter lore, if you want someone to keep a secret for life, you must give them something that binds them to you. A vow alone is not enough. A secret without a price is a weapon waiting to be used. She stared deep into Malia's eyes. So tell me, hunter, what will I give you that binds you to me and this secret forever? Malia stood frozen. Then the words came, almost a whisper. Make me his wife. Nandi narrowed her eyes. Who? Tatenda. Nandi laughed, the laugh of a madwoman. Oh, there it is. The truth. She stepped closer, her voice low, trembling. You think this is a game? You think by handing me this you've bought yourself a seat at the table? She circled her again. Do you know what it means to carry my blood? To walk in my shadow? Do you know the burden? I can try to understand. You don't want to understand, Nandi snapped. You want to join the family, so you can stop being the maid's daughter. Malia stood her ground. I kept your secret, and I promise to continue keeping it. Then, a slow, terrifying smile from Nandi. But know this. If I am to give you my son, you will not carry just one secret. You will carry two, and both must stay buried until the day you die. Malia's jaw clenched. She paused for a moment. What's the other secret? Nandi smiled, but it wasn't kind. It was the smile of a woman holding all the cards. I'll tell you when the time comes. She stepped closer, looking Malia dead in the eye. Fine, Malia said. I'll keep them both. Nandi nodded once. Then may your spine be strong, girl. Because this family does not carry light secrets. Welcome to the family. I hope you like it here. She opened the door herself. Now get out. Nandi, get out! Malia stepped out, her cheek still stinging, her heart racing. But her spine straightened. She wasn't walking out as just another hunter. She was walking out as someone with a bright future. And tonight, she would dress well. Because Tendai had invited her to a party, and he didn't know it yet. But his bride had already been chosen. And that, my dear Savannians, brings us to the end of yet another episode in our Snake People vs. Hunters series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Before I dive into this week's episode recap, I want to pause and give a heartfelt thank you to Angel for your generous super thanks. Angel expressed deep sadness over the passing of the Lion King Shumba, sharing how much it moved you and even brought you to tears. That kind of emotion reminds me why these stories matter so much. Angel, your generosity goes beyond the gift. It's the compassion and the heart behind it. You have always given with such sincerity, and I am truly grateful. May the gods bless you for the love you show, and may every good thing you've wished for return to you many times over. Thank you, Angel. Truly, thank you. In this week's episode, Eli meets with Nyoka'tu once again. He brings her a necklace that was given to him by his older brother, Mambo. Nyoka'tu accepts it, but she has a request. She wants him to follow her to her people, to see who she really is. Eli is both afraid and curious. At last, he meets her people. They are not what he expected. There is something strange about them, something he cannot shake. He meets their leader, Aramon. Nyoka'tu assures him that they will not hurt him because he is under her protection. Meanwhile, elsewhere in time, Vusi finally reaches the hunter's territory. He sends word to Tendai, asking to meet. But while this is happening, Nala is busy interrogating Zorro to uncover the truth of what happened in the forest. Zorro is truthful, but much remains hidden. Nala insists they should go and see Sundiatu, the healer, but Zorro is saved by Tendai, who bursts in with urgency. He has Vusi in the dungeons. If the hunters discover this, the consequences will be severe. Speaking of consequences, the centaurs gather. Tharion admits that he has given his queen the sacrificed child. The elders are shocked. The gods speak through Varanor, yet still Tharion challenges them. He will not take the child away from her. The decision has been made, but the gods will have the last laugh. Elsewhere, Nandi is happy for the first time in a long while, but when she opens the door, she sees Malia. Malia holds an envelope with the truth. Nandi wonders if Malia has come to threaten her. Malia says she has not, but soon realizes she holds a winning card. With it, she can change her fortunes for the better, and so she plays her move. She demands to become Tendai's wife. Nandi agrees but warns her she will not only keep one secret, she will keep two. What will happen next, we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, stay wild, stay curious, and stay ready for what's to come. Want to support the channel and become an even bigger part of our tribe? You can join for as little as the cost of a coffee each month. Your support helps me continue creating the content you love, but of course, just having you here is already more than enough. Thank you for being part of this journey. To all 8 of you in my inner circle who continue to stand with me month after month, know this: the savannah grows, breathes, and lives because of you. Your choice to walk this path with me is a gift I will never take lightly. And to those watching from the edges, the horn is calling, the path is open, and the fire is warm. The savannah awaits you. And as always, thank you for watching our story, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time in the savannah.